Hey guys, what's up? I'm Speo with the Voice of Reason and I'm back with more tutorials. Today I'm going to show you how you can turn an okay sounding bassline into a really good sounding fat and brutal dubstep bassline using parallel processing. And for that purpose I have extended the bass growl from my new track Airborne and it now sounds like this. It doesn't sound bad, but it definitely needs some more highs and just some more in-your-face qualities. But before we get into that, let me just quickly show you the patch. Now I won't go into detail on this patch because that's not the purpose of this tutorial, but if you want to, I can explain this Maelstrom patch and the distortion and stuff in another tutorial. Just drop a comment saying that you want to or not. So this is basically just a Maelstrom patch running through some distortion units and into some equalizers who just remove some ringers and then into a compressor. And like I said, this definitely needs some more highs. And what you'd usually do is just turn on the equalizer on the main channel, on the original source, to just boost some highs. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a parallel channel on the original source and just designate this parallel channel to the highs. And that way we can control the highs using the slider down here, and we can also apply some nifty little tricks which make for some really cool sounding bass lines. But more on that later. Now first we can just turn on the high pass filter and bring it up a bit, so they're really just the highs on this channel at about 800 Hz. And then we're gonna turn on the equalizer and just boost a shit ton of highs, because that's just what we're doing here. Like about 13 dB or something. And what we can do now, and what is possibly the coolest possibility of parallel processing, is we can throw some insert effects on this parallel channel, which don't affect the original source, but can sound really cool when mixed together with it. And my favorite ever device for doing this is using the Audiomatic Retro Transformer, which I've really grown to love, especially when using it as an insert on a parallel channel. And because we're boosting highs right here, we're gonna select the bright algorithm for this Audiomatic, and we'll bring the transform all the way up for the best results. Sweet. And because I feel like it, I'm gonna chuck another Audiomatic Retro Transformer just beneath the first one, and I'll just leave it on the type algorithm and bring the transform all the way up as well to get some more in-your-face qualities out of these highs. Beautiful. Now let's mix the original signal and the high signal together. Sweet! I think it's pretty easy to see and hear the capabilities of parallel processing on dubstep basslines. But let's take it even further and create yet another parallel channel by right-clicking the first parallel channel and hitting Create Parallel Channel. On this parallel channel, we're going to focus on movement. And to get some more movement into the sound, adding a phaser is usually a good idea. So I'm just going to hop right back into the inserts on the next parallel channel and just chuck a phaser in there. I'm just gonna use the Reason phaser for demonstration purposes, but you can always just check the Rack Extension store for some better phasers with more capabilities. But for this, the Reason phaser will do nicely. Let's mix the signals. Sweet. Okay, now that we've got this put together, we can select all three bass channels, so the original signal and the first and second parallel channel, and just route them to a new output bus, to have them all in just one handy location. I'm just gonna put the color on red as well, because I'm a little bit of a, well, I don't know what to call it. Okay, now that we've got the bus going, we can now create yet another parallel channel on the bus. And on this parallel channel, we now got all the treatment that the original signal got before, and the 2 parallel channels right here. And I'm going to use this parallel channel to get some more stereo width into the sound. And a great way to do this is just by activating the high-pass filter once again, because we don't want too many lows in the stereo field and just clogging that shit up and mudding it. So we're going to bring it up to about 400 Hertz, something like that. And then chuck some inserts in, and for that, usually a reverb is a good way to go if you want some stereo width. And I'm just gonna use the film score algorithm and bring the dry wet down a bit. And now for the best results in stereo width, you should chuck in a stereo imager. Either that, or if you own it, you can chuck in the Faturator rack extension, which has a very nifty little button right here, the Stereo Turbo, which induces a Haas effect. Just Google that if you don't know what it is. And we bring it up all the way, and this is just really like stereo width and stuff. I love it. Now let's mix it together. Okay, now you can see what's possible using parallel processing in the mixer, and this is just a start. You can always experiment further and mix different kind of sounds into the original signal to get a very complex and cool sounding bass line. And I honestly recommend parallel processing on everything. Really, on hi-hats too if you want. Just try it out. And you can always come up with some cool stuff you didn't think of before and just mix it into the original sound, and it'll really boost the quality of your productions. Okay, and that's it for now. My name's been Speo, this was The Voice of Reason. I hope you're as glad as I am to be back. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one of whatever you're having. Oh yeah, and check out my new EP. Please